That's where the water table is in the ground, right there. And in the peak of right after the storm, it was right up to the bumper of that truck over there. So that's the level of water in the aquifer. We rarely have standing water there. I mean, occasionally you get a big storm, there'll be water there for a day or so. This has been 2 weeks or 10 days at least, and it's subsided somewhat, but it's still totally saturated. So this is really rather unusual. We don't often get this.
But as far as your crop is concerned, you're doing okay?
Yes, we are. And just today, I'm going to start irrigating with it. And this is the well here. It's just a shallow well. We just suck the water up from the groundwater. Look how close it is to the surface over there. I mean, it's within just maybe 2 feet of water level. And when the water came down, we actually had water coming under the plants of the greenhouse. And along the concrete wall there, water actually started coming up from the groundwater.
Tomatoes and cucumbers can deal with this amount of water in general?
They need quite a bit of water. And the nice thing about this greenhouse here, these plants, the roots actually can get the water directly from the water table. We hardly need to irrigate them once they're established, then the roots start getting down. Where we're high on the farm, like those places, we were actually out plowing just 2 days after all of that rain. And there was no problem at all. We just plowed, and a lot of farmers here could hardly understand how you could do that. But our ground is rather sandy. The water just goes inside, goes down, and it worked very well. I welcome the water going back into the groundwater. And because we have rather sandy soils here, almost all the rain that falls ultimately does go back into the aquifer. This water level here is actually higher than the level of the creek. And so where does this water go? Ultimately, it seeps out underneath the creek. And you could even see sometimes springs where this fresh water is bubbling up in our saltwater creeks. And it's happening right now because the level of this water is actually higher than the sea level in the creeks. So, all things considered, it's really not that serious a problem for us.
Is this difficult to work with?
Just right. It's a sandy soil, so it's easy to plow. There's no water standing in it. It's not excessively wet. It's easy to plow. It's be very good for corn that we're planting to plant in a day or two.